Hi everyone, this is Anastasia. It's always so much fun trying to figure out the camera setting and going live and the lighting and all that fun stuff. So it's Monday. It's Monday afternoon, and I was inspired to share something with everyone today. My friend Carrie Lewis and I did our very first Facebook Live last night together. So we're going to be doing this every Sunday night from 8:30 to 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time. And it was a blast. I think we both had a blast, and we got to ask each other some questions and talk about various things. And that's what the format's going to continue to be like moving forward. Every Sunday, we will pick a loose topic to talk about. We'll have a topic and then we'll probably touch on that, and then who knows where the conversation will go. We're just going to keep it organic and, as Carrie says, keep it real. So I went to bed thinking about something that she and I talked about, and then I woke up this morning still thinking about this one point that we made, and we talked about a lot of different things, but the thing that was percolating for me overnight and this morning, and it still is something that I want to share with all of you. I'm also going to hopefully it will inspire you and maybe even challenge you. So I'm going to be talking about how, and this is just one way, or I might talk about a couple ways we can retrain our brain to look for good things and great things, awesome things, big things, just life-affirming things. For so many of us, we might be wired to think, we might get up with the best of intentions and have sit and meditate and have a vision for how our day's going to go. And then something might come in to interrupt that we weren't planning. And then I'm curious to see, because this happens to me, that how quickly my brain goes into either like disaster mode, like how to fix a problem that's come up, or that's just one scenario, or now panic or anxiety, or sometimes, you think like, wow, I wasn't expecting this, and I've got to troubleshoot. So just all the ways that the mind kind of now is geared towards not just fixing a problem, but, not looking for good things, because now you're focused on fixing something. Or for some of us, and I can speak for myself, I've spent many, many years just sort of running the same patterns of looking for the bad, because something bad might have happened, whether it was at work or in a relationship or just anywhere in your life, and now you're just reliving that over and over again and not looking for anything good, because you've said to yourself, well, I've experienced 10 years of whatever, 10 years of bad luck, 10 years of bad relationships, 10 years of not having enough money, whatever that might be. So then what happens is then we start looking for evidence of, see, nothing good really happens to me, and we start collecting evidence for more of the things that don't feel good. And that's just how a lot of us are wired. Again, this may not be everyone, but a lot of us are wired to kind of look for the bad things, because it's just how it's always been. So a couple of quick tips is, how can you start to change that? And how can you start to have your brain look for good things? And one very simple way is to actually take a look around at your life, whether it's your actual physical surroundings, or take an internal inventory of all the good things you have in your life. And this is where people sit and do a gratitude journal, or will just write a page of all the things they're grateful for. So that's one way of shifting from, well, I don't have enough, or I want more of this, and you can start to focus on, well, look at what I do have. And I have so much. And when I actually sit down to do that, when I'm in like a lack mentality, and I'm thinking, I don't have enough, I don't have this, I don't have that, this is stinky, this sucks, then I can sit down. I sit down and make my list of, look at all the things that I've been blessed with. And they can be recent things, and they can be things that you've been blessed with, you know, last week, last year, 20 years ago. It really doesn't matter. What we're wanting to do when we are retraining the brain is start to collect evidence of good things that have already happened to you. So then you can make this list and you can refer back to it. So when your brain and your thoughts go to a place of, oh no, I don't have enough, I want more of this. Because if you keep saying, I want more, the universe is going to give you like this feeling of wanting more. But I want more of X. I want more of X, Y, and Z. So you can start to see where you've already experienced that. And but once you make that list, it's really easy to fall into a space of gratitude and to say, wow, I've already been blessed with so much. So why won't I be blessed again? And I think a really interesting exercise to do is to start writing things that you would like in your life as also part of your gratitude list. And Carrie touched upon this last night. So it's being grateful for what's coming. She talked about how she tells her children that she's wealthy. And I think she said something like they're looking around and they're going, no, you're not, because they want to see physical evidence of the wealth. But what she's doing is she's affirming that she's wealthy. So she's using her thoughts and changing her belief systems that she is wealthy. And then she's stepping into the feeling of feeling wealthy. So the more you do that, again, that's the space that you want to be in. That's that feel-good space of I am wealthy versus saying I don't have enough. And if you do nothing else, just think about those two sentences and those two phrases and how you feel. Just think about when you say, I don't feel, or I don't have enough. I don't have enough. And see how you feel with that. And then, even if you don't believe it, just try saying, I am wealthy. I have everything I need. Everything I need is provided for me, always has been, and always will be. And again, dive into that feeling and just check in to see how you feel. Because that's really what we're wanting to grow, is the vibration, the energy. The thing that you are desiring will manifest. And if it doesn't manifest, then it will come in a different way. Or it wasn't meant for you in this time. So don't worry about that. What we're doing is building the energy, building the vibration of what you want to come into your life. So that is one way. So we're talking about looking for evidence that has already happened of the good thing. Just keep looking for evidence. This is an exercise that I have heard many, many times and I've put into practice. So if you don't want to start with something in your life, because I know that if this is a new concept, it may feel a little daunting and it may feel a little strange. So the next time you are in your car, you can say something like, I want to see how many red cars I see today. So then what you're doing is you're putting a program into your brain. You want to see how many red cars you pass or whatever are parked. Just any red cars. It could be blue, it could be green. It doesn't matter. It could be specific, like a Toyota. Does not matter. You pick. So once you train your brain to start looking for the red car, you're going to be amazed at how many red cars you see. And the truth is that you probably see roughly the same amount of red cars possibly every time you're out on the road. But once you put it in the program, once you like install that as a thought, how many red cars are there out there? Then you start looking for it, and then you start finding the evidence for that. It's very interesting. Just try it. You could do it with parking spaces. A lot of people do this with parking spaces, and I do it too. It's like, before I leave the house, I'm going to find a parking space close to wherever, the supermarket, the mall, wherever you go, and watch it show up. So when we look for it and we anticipate that it's going to happen, and not only going to happen, but it's already happened. We're asking to create that. It's already happened. Just watch. And you guys can play with this. You can do it with whatever. Sometimes we all have found money somewhere, right? Whether it's change or dollar bills that somebody has dropped, or the universe magically drops out of the sky. So if that's something you want to focus on, put it in your consciousness that you are wealthy, that everything you need is provided for, and see what shows up. And it may not be literally in the form of a dollar bill or some extra change on the ground, but you are working towards creating an abundant lifestyle. So it may not be money that shows up, but it may be an abundance of opportunity that shows up that leads to making more money. Or it might be an abundance of opportunities to hang out with friends. So that might bring about some interesting opportunities and or networking. So I'm inviting you all to play with this. And the last tip that I'll share, which I touched on last night as well, is to use creative questions. When we're not just there in thinking, I am wealthy. So when we're thinking that we don't have enough, when we're in a lack consciousness frame of mind, and we just want to jump right over to I am wealthy. So we're struggling to pay a bill or bills, and now we are saying to ourselves, well, I want to be a billionaire, trillionaire. So some people are able to do that. They're able to make that quantum jump and leap. A lot of us need to create a bridge and need to do it incrementally. So what I have found super helpful to do it incrementally is to ask questions. So you can do the I don't have enough to jumping all the way to I'm a millionaire. Or you can say, how do I have enough? How am I always provided for? How am I wealthy? How does it feel? How does a millionaire feel? You could just leave it at that. How does a millionaire feel? Because you're wanting to feel that. How would it feel to have more abundance and more money so that you don't have to worry about other things? So we're doing these little questions. We're making these little, and they're not really little. They're very powerful. So instead of an I am statement, you're asking a question. How do I feel wealthy? And the other way to ask it is, why do I feel wealthy? And you're asking that question not so much because you want one answer or a answer. There's no perfect answer. You're wanting a multitude of answers. Why am I wealthy? Why am I wealthy? Well, I can answer for myself. Today, I have everything I need. I have a place to live. I have beautiful things that surround me. I have clothes. I have food. To me, I'm gathering again. I'm going back to the first point. I'm gathering evidence for how I'm wealthy. There's nothing that I actually don't have that I need today. I have everything I need. So that's one way that I'm wealthy. Again, you ask the question 5 minutes from now, or a half hour from now, or tomorrow. How am I wealthy? And every time you ask it, you're going to get a different answer. You might get the same answer, which is totally fine, and there's nothing wrong with that. But the more you continue to do it, you're going to get another answer, and another answer, and another answer. And see, now you're creating like a library of all the ways that you are wealthy. I mean, you may want to take out that journal again, and how do I feel wealthy? Why do I feel wealthy? And it could be whatever your goal is. It doesn't have to be about money or finances. It could be more of an internal process of feeling loved or wanted, or worthy. So you can use the question, how am I worthy? Why am I worthy? And just keep asking it. So with a question, you're retraining your brain to focus on worthy versus continuing to stay in the rut of, I'm not worthy, I don't feel worthy, nothing's working out for me, I don't attract anything good. It's because I'm not worthy. So if we keep allowing the mind and the thoughts to run roughshod over us, we're going to get more of that. So when you catch yourself, and that's about awareness, when you catch yourself saying, how am I wealthy? Or why am I worthy? Again, doesn't it feel different than I'm not worthy? I don't feel worthy? How am I worthy? How do good things come to me? Why am I a magnet for wonderful things coming to me now? So I want you guys to play with that if you're so inclined. And if you want to just start with the exercise of looking for that red car and how many red cars can you see the next time you drive, or how many opportunities, come to you. Just pick a goal. If it's something about relationships and there's been a breakup or a divorce or a string of maybe, bad breakups or bad relationships, or you're just not connecting with the right people, you can use a question again and look for evidence of all the good relationships you've had. Because I can't imagine that, yes, we've all had breakups and tough breakups, but I can't imagine that that's been your only experience the whole time. And if you say, well, no, I've just had a string of bad relationships, then I would put the focus on, look at the friends that you have in your life. Do you have some good friends? Because you've been able to attract loving, kind people through your friends. So you can start there. You can start to build that energy up of, yeah, I can attract good people. I do have some really wonderful friends. I have some friends that deeply care for me and love me, and that if I need something, I know I can count on them. So we have to start small in order to get to make that quantum jump. And again, I've known people that just make the quantum jump and the shift, and it's amazing, and it's powerful, and it's 100% doable, and you can do it at any time. What I'm offering here and sharing here is for those folks that are really struggling with not feeling worthy and then just feeling worthy in like 2 seconds. You can use the creative questions. You can journal to write down how you felt worthy in the past. When did you feel worthy in the past? How did it feel? And you can get yourself back into that feeling space, that beautiful feeling space of, I did it before, I attracted it before, I can do it again. And honestly, guys, if you've done it once, we can all do it again and again and again. And the point is to just keep collecting the evidence. Keep collecting evidence of the good stuff. So, I don't know, when I think of evidence, sometimes I think like a lawyer, or like in a courtroom, they're collecting evidence for their case, right? The prosecution or the defense team has to collect evidence. Well, collect it for yourself. Say, I'm going to collect evidence showing whatever it is, that I'm worthy of this wonderful new job, that I'm worthy of amazing friends, that I'm just worthy to have whatever I want and need, and to live a good life, whatever that means for you. We're all in different places and spaces, so it's going to look different for everyone. Just start with something that feels good to you and work on it and just increase it and grow that. So that's really what I wanted to share today. I wanted to share it with you all because I was inspired by my conversation with Carrie last night. So I've challenged myself to pick 1 or 2 things this week to focus on, to look for evidence so I can raise my vibration. And I might, depending on how it goes, I may, I know it's going to go well, but I may increase that to a month. I may just want to focus on, one or two things each month that I want to work on. But I'm going to just start with this week. I'm going to look for evidence for a couple of things that I want to just pump up the energy around. So I'm going to start with this week, go into next week, and I might like do it as a month-long thing, and then I can focus on something else next month. But you can certainly focus on more than one thing that you want to collect evidence for. I think why not? We're looking for evidence of the good, and there's good everywhere. There's good all around us. The universe, the Creator, wants goodness for us, wants ease and peace in our life. We're not here to struggle, even though a lot of us, may have gone through struggle and are currently going through struggle. That is not what the universe holds for us, wants for us, and it's not how we're wired. I think if God, not that God is looking and judging, but if God, was like, that's what you think of yourself? You think so little of yourself? That's certainly not how I see you, nor how I created you to be, nor how others see you, truly. So sometimes, and many times, we're our own harshest critics. So that is my little wisdom tidbit for the day and my inspiration. So feel free to leave any comments or questions. I'd be happy to answer them for you, and I hope you have a wonderful week. And if you have some good news or good what's the word, not just good evidence, but if you guys have reached some ahas or awarenesses around this, I'd love to hear that too. So happy hunting. Happy hunting for your evidence, everyone. Have a great week.